you want to be successful when you do the program, then all you need is the program binder, because in there is the site operation and site guidelines. So when you come on site and you're a new staff, you should be able to go right to the program binder, open the first page, and it should say, here are all the rules and guidelines for the site. This is the schedule. This is what you should know. Because then you can successfully run that program and not be taken advantage of by the kids. Oh, we go outside right away. We get 3 snacks. These are where you can kind of minimize those things. The curriculum for the week, the children allergies and diagnosis. This is child specific. If someone has an allergy, you need to know. You need to know who it is, where they are, and what they look like, so you know that you need to be mindful of that. And if there's a traveling EpiPen that needs to be stay with that child, you need to know those things in order to keep yourself and the kids safe in the program. Curriculum for the week, monthly ideas, meaning if you're struggling, it's a rain day, and the kids are going insane like they were last week. These are ideas to different activities to do. The daily schedule, the schedule of staff contact information. Site-specific notes. Some schools let us use their equipment, some schools don't, so site-specific notes should be kept there. And then the established rules. So when the kids are like, so-and-so let me do it, you be like, no they didn't, because the rules are there, so you know what they should or shouldn't be able to do. Child-specific plans. Any kids on behavior plans that are check-in and check-out sheets, anything along those lines should be listed there. And then behavior tracking sheets. Some of them have, like I said, the check-in and out sheets. Sometimes some kids have goal sheets, whatever each one has. That's where you're going to find that information. So 3 areas. So what do you think the most important things for you to find when you go on site for the first time are? These 3 things? Right. So at each site is a huge 11 by 14 piece of paper that says where these things are and the first aid bin. So you need to find that. The other huge 11 by 14 sheet, and the reason it's not posted in here is because the site picks up and drops off in buses, so there's no reason to post that here because you're handling this on the buses. But it's in the afternoons when the kids come down, you take attendance. If a child isn't there, what do? There's a huge flow chart of what you should do. You do this first, you check this first. If this happens, it goes here, and then all the way down. So taking attendance is pretty important, so make sure that you look for those 2 11 by 14 pieces of paper that should be posted at the site that tells you where all of this information is. So become familiar, become one with your policies and procedures. These are your backbones of different things. There's the flow chart. Did you do that for schools out? Housing. And then that's the one there.
Way to go, Clubhouse.
There's no directions on where it is though.
On here it is.
No, where the enrollment binder is and stuff like that.
Whoops. It's right next to it.
Yeah, here.
Honestly, it's not that bad.
There's also the QR code for the time clock and those types of things in there too. Okay. On the back piece of paper is this is what the sign-in sheets look like. The reason that we put that in there is because I want you to become very familiar with that. If it says 3:25 to 6 in the afternoon, that kid is supposed to be there. So you need to look for them. When they come down, you highlight. And if they're missing, you follow the flow chart. If it says 6:30 to 8:40 and they're not there in the morning a half an hour before the program closes, what do you need to do? Call and leave a message for the parents and make sure that they're there, or just that someone knows that they didn't show up. You can leave a message, that one's fine. In the afternoon, you cannot just leave a message that someone's missing. You have to find them at all costs. Okay. Then after that is the snack sheets. The snack sheets are what we're having for snack that day. The policies and procedures are going to be gone through by Amy in a little bit, but please note that you have to serve these things at that time, especially the Catholic area schools. Do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The Catholic area schools have jugs of milk that you have to pick up here, so if there's milk missing, come get it.
Yep, so before all of you each site, it has to go across the street, cause there's a box that has bagels, oranges, and bananas. St. Mary's and St. James, you have milk in the refrigerator, and Flynn, you know, the usual spot for all your stuff. As far as snack is concerned, you should all have, the production records for this week. And then what I'm gonna ask you guys to do is come Thursday after your shift in the afternoon, I want you to keep just what you need for Friday snack on site. And then bring the rest of it back.
Everything.
Yep.
Next week?
Because, no, this week.
Thursday?
Because you have the production record for this week, and I don't want to do another shopping run for this school year, especially if some sites I know have a lot of leftovers. So go through your snack menu this week. I don't want any fresh fruit back, okay? So if we have, like today, I think it's like bananas or something else. And then the next day, there's two options, but the kid doesn't like it, but they want bananas, like give them the fruit, okay? Don't be wasting the fruit, give it to the kid any day after the day that we're serving it. Yeah.
Serving utensils like bowls and cups and stuff to come back, or do you want those to stay at the site?
Nope, the bowls, napkins, cups, plates, with the exception of Flynn, you have a lot, so I might have to bring some of the stuff back. But just this food, so serve snack on Thursday, keep what you need just for Friday, bring the rest of it back, and we'll probably have you put it on the table where you're going to pick up the snack today across the street.
All of you are responsible for that. We're not conveying that to anyone else out at the sites right now. So please understand that that's our request for you guys, to make sure that out at the sites on Thursday, you leave Friday snack and bring everything back to us Thursday night.
Yep, so it gives me at least a day to go through it and hopefully I can go through it Friday morning and then give you next week's snack Friday after that training, so you won't have to do another trip in, even though you are for 1 to 3 training. So on these production records, it's extremely important. You can switch days completely, like some of the schools, you get milk on Monday, so you have to switch Monday and Tuesday completely. Because if you are doing juice is considered a fruit, and you have to have a grain with that. Okay, so you can't switch like milk and juice, because then usually they're getting like 2 fruits, and then that doesn't count for a snack. So if you're gonna do that, you have to flip-flop days entirely. And that's fine with me, I don't care that you do that, because each school is different as far as when you get your milk. As far as procedures for snack, you need to wash the tables before snack, and how do you wash them? What are the 2 things that you use?
Blue and red, orange.
But what are those?
What, yeah.
Yep, soap and water for the first one.
So you spray it down. So you
So
spray it down, wipe it down with the Dawn dish soap mixture, and then you use the Table Time disinfectant and wipe it down. So you do that, you get your snack on the table, and we're serving family style. Can anybody tell me what that means to serve family style? Anna?
They set at a table and they pass it around, the scoop.
Yep, exactly. So if we were serving snack right here in this example, if we're having goldfish or graham crackers and juice today, there should be a bowl of goldfish and graham crackers here on each table, and then juice and water at each table. So that's how it should be looking like at the site. And make sure you tell the kids before they take it, like, you can take 1 package of goldfish or 1 scoop. And please watch, because some people like to take more than 1 snack. Right, Anna?
Oh my gosh.
So then the kids sit at the table, they pass it around. Everyone needs to be sitting during that like 20 minutes of snack. They shouldn't be up running around. Even if they're not eating snack, they need to stay and socialize. And just, that means you guys too. If somebody is trying to find a kid, that's fine, but if you have the opportunity, sit down and eat with the kids. Or don't eat it with the kids, but sit down and talk with them. And then once we're done with snack, what do we have to do?
Clean up.
Yep, but what does that look like? What does that mean? rewash the tables, both Dawn dish soap mixture, table time. And what should the kids do before snack as well? Wash their hands, yes. If you are handling any of the food, you need to be wearing gloves. Most of the food now out at the sites is prepackaged, so that shouldn't be an issue. The only thing that might is like goldfish, but you can also just dump them from the box. And anything, so like the goldfish, if it's in a bowl, you've dumped it out and you have leftover, what do you do with that? Can you dump it back in the box? Yep, eat it or throw it away, because once it's out, it needs to, but that doesn't mean you should be like, oh, I really like goldfish, so just dump the whole box in. Okay? Use your judgment with that.
Because once it's poured, we can't put it back.
Right. Any questions on snack? And in the summer, snack will look a lot different. So at your sites now, except for Flynn in the clubhouse, you just get a normal like grain and milk or grain and juice. During the summer, you will get what's called super snack, and that's all 5 components. So you will have a fruit, a veggie, a grain, milk, and then protein. And that's gonna be Claire's deal. So she'll cut and prep the fruit and veggies for you, and then normally in a big plastic container right up before snack, she'll bring it around, or you guys will have to come and get it from the kitchen, to be determined at a later time. We'll let you know what the process is to make sure it flows the best. But that's the same thing. You should have a bowl of all 5 of those things at each table. Well, not a bowl of milk, but like a pitcher of milk. And then they should sit, because for the summer, if they are doing super snack and say everyone at this table is eating except for Garrett, if Garrett stays at that table, we can count him for snack because he's participating in snack. So we can claim that meal for reimbursement. So please make sure that you are like establishing that now that the kids need to stay sitting and socializing. Which leads me to bring points as far as when should we write down the number of kids that had snack?
As it's happening.
Yep, as it's happening. So serve out snack, because you would not believe how many times during the school year our attendance number is less than the number of snacks we serve. So our snack number is more, which doesn't make sense. So please, as you serve out snack, quick take a count and write it down right away. Yeah. Questions? I think that's everything.
When do you wash the tables? How many steps are in the process of cleaning the tables?
4.
Aw, I like it. I like that answer. You're right, 2 or 4. How long should the kids be sitting at the table? And the whole time. This prevents kids from leaving their area messy. This prevents kids from tripping with their bowl of milk and having you have to clean it up. This prevents kids from doing this. I'm gonna get to the whatever the is. That's how you get kids to eat. And if you get kids to eat, then you don't have behavioral problems. You have no idea of the number of behavioral problems that decrease if children eat their food. Food makes you hangry. You guys get hangry? So do kids. You guys can eat snack as well, by the way. You just can't eat all of it. But you guys are welcome to eat snack with the kids as well.
Pineapple days.
And there is
The kids don't get
Don't
it.
make things not worse by eating all the pineapple.
There is a column on the production records that says projected number of kids. So just go through your attendance sheet. If there's supposed to be 50 kids there, you write 50. And then during snack, you count how many actually participated and ate snack. And then the number of adult participants, that's you guys. And then ignore the last 2 columns. Yes.
For this year, are we gonna have the same like paperwork that we did last year? Like there's like 4 extra pages. that
Yes.
are- Okay.
And we'll go into more day camp specific later, but this is a good intro, become familiar. So even if someone else is taking care of snack at your sites before and after school care, familiarize yourself with this stuff. Know how to do this, know how to fill these out, ask questions and figure it out, and ask any questions if the person that you're asking questions about doesn't know the answer. Seek out the answers that you seek. Okay? Because that's what this is about. Use the paperwork. Use it now. Ask your questions now. It's so much easier to answer right now than then later on when things go a little crazy. Okay, the next sheet is the medical authorization form. If you have this one there. Okay. So the medical authorization sheet. This is anytime anyone has any meds that need to be administered in the program. EpiPens, inhalers, unfortunately chapstick.
Anything.
So anything at all needs to be put on here. This is what you're doing. While the parent is filling out this form, you're checking to make sure the medicine is the correct container with the correct child's name, the medication, the correct dosage, and the doctor's name. The prescription is the doctor permission. So if you don't have the correct child's name and what it is in the correct bottle, you don't have doctor permission to administer. If someone, let's say someone gets an ear infection or those types and that type of thing in there, and then they're like, oh, they only have like 2 more things, can you give them? And they give them to you in a baggie. Do not administer that med. Your choice then is to say you can come back at the time that it needs to be administered, or you can go get the bottle, or you can wait until later. You cannot administer. You're held responsible for that reaction. Do you really want to be responsible for that reaction? If you're like, I don't really know what it was in a baggie. Don't do it, man. And then, so have the parent fill this out, leave this in the program binder. This goes under child specific. So if it's only from a week because they had an ear infection and they need to do ear drops, then that goes in the child specific in your program binder because that's where all your accurate information is. But if it's ongoing, it stays in there because that's with the plan. If the student has an EpiPen or those types of things, we have the authorization and the plan in the same spot. Once it's done, if it's a time start, time end, then it just goes behind the child's enrollment form so we have data that they were administered at a certain time. And then anytime you administer the med, you need to put it in the med log and document the correct information of what it was, when it was given, what time you gave it, and then your everything in the med log says initials. Please don't put your initials. Please sign your full name. You guys, there's a lot of staff. So later on, if I'm trying to figure out who you are, that's going to be hard. So please put anywhere it says initials in the med log, sign your full name, please.
One thing I would like to add to that medication administration. So some of our kids have stimulant type medication to control ADHD. I know that none of you would take a medication that's not yours, right? But here's the deal. Adderall is something that is a controlled medication, and it's something that could easily be taken and we wouldn't know where it was. So to protect yourself, one thing that I recommend that you do when you administer medication is to count how many pills are in the bottle when you open it, and then how many pills are left in the bottle when you put it back, and document that in the medication or the med log, because that verifies that when you had your hands on that pill bottle, this is what was left in it. What happens after that is not your responsibility then, because you documented what you did and what was left. Right? If you don't document that there were 6 pills, you gave 1, there's 5 left. If you're the last person that's documented having had that pill bottle in their hand and those medications go missing, you're the first person that we're gonna ask, like, what went down? Because now all of a sudden these pills are missing. You know what I mean? So it's about covering your own backside and not about like anybody being bad. We know no one's gonna take medication, but just protect yourself in that way.
The only other thing to think about in that sense too is we have a lot of parents with split households, and so medication can only be given out a certain amount in a certain amount of time. So then this pill bottle is also going between houses and those types of things. So sometimes we get caught in the middle of that. So it's just a good way to be like, yeah, nope, here's what we have, you know. So just it's a good way to kind of track it and to make sure. And anytime we take new meds in, took in 2 meds today, or you know, a pill bottle from the so-and-so, and then gave back the bottle today. So then that just kind of protects us when it travels between parents and whatnot.
Do we give back the bottles every Friday, or do we keep them? I think it
That's
depends on the
right now. It's up to the parents.
Okay.
It's more so, and then recognizing as a site, if you want to make it a routine at your site that you give them back every Friday, that's fine. But you have to realize some kids don't come anymore, so you need to realize when you need to send that med back.
Okay.
this is the form, this is what, it kinda tells you exactly, expiration of the meds right here, today's date. So this is where all that, what that looks like. The parent fills out this portion and signs here, you are signing into the med log. Just so you know, sunscreen and bug spray is considered a medication, which is why that has to be checked in and all too. So later on, when you wonder why you're going through the nightmare that is tracking sunscreen. But they're super nice enough to make it so we don't have to med log it. Could you imagine? Oh my god. So, here's the directions on how to med log. Med logging is our legal documentation of what is going on at the site. So, when someone checks about the meds, if someone gets injured, if someone gets hurt, if someone gets, there's an incident between two children, that is our legal documentation. If a parent contacts me and says, oh, I need all of the incident forms for my child, we give them that and the med log with all of the different dates and times that the student was written up or those types of things. This is our legal documentation. You need to be very objective and write in a very specific way on doing this. I would like you guys to read through the directions on this for about 5 to 10 minutes here, and then I'll give you an example to write.